Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Component Carousel. I was going to say, for Front End Horse live stream Component Carousel. I get the things mixed up. I'm human, but you know what? We are here. We're having a lot of fun. We have Luis Bizarro here. I am thrilled to get you in here. We have so many people in the chat that are already excited just for the fact that you are here. I'm thrilled that you're here, Luis. Great to have you. Do you want to introduce yourself to the chat a bit to people who might not be familiar with you?
Yeah, sure. First of all, thanks a lot for inviting me,
Yeah.
for joining you guys. And I'm a little bit nervous because that's the first time I'm doing something live with like an interview with also building some components.
We're gonna be
But
supportive
for
though,
this,
right, chat? Chat.
yeah,
We've got a
please.
super friendly community. If we make mistakes, if we hit roadblocks, no one in the chat's gonna be like, "I paid money for that." Nope. We're gonna support and we're gonna throw our weight behind you and help. Tomatoes at the ready, Anthony. No. Yeah, no, totally get it. It's a stressful thing. I'm gonna help as much as I can, and chat is super supportive. So I totally hear you. But hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully it's gonna be a great experience for you. That's
Yeah,
my goal is that you enjoy yourself. So
yeah, that's awesome. I have bring some interesting stuff about Three.js that I would like to share with the audience, like some tricks, some tips that I had in this project. And it's going to be based in a real project that I have done in the past.
it's awesome.
So hopefully that's going to be useful for everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Luis Henrique Bizarro. I live in São Paulo, Brazil. And you can notice by my accent that I'm from Brazil. So that's it about me. I work with mostly WebGL experiences nowadays, but I have started working with a bunch of different types of websites, from React applications, also WordPress websites before, some Prismic integrations as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, I really love Prismic nowadays. So that's my favorite CMS, and I really recommend that for everyone that wants to use in their projects. But yeah, I have also launched Awards Academy course that I explain how my workflow works.
Yes.
Um,
We got that
yeah,
right
yeah,
here. Someone in the chat, I think it was Rachel, was just saying that yeah, you build a website from scratch without frameworks, and yeah, I actually kind of met you not like face to face or anything. It's always funny to see like how I met someone on the internet, right? But I met you because you came on to a Prismic meetup and talked with us about Prismic. So yeah, and I was just like, I've got to get him on to build something awesome out on the stream, and I'm so happy to get you here. See, Mutru, awesome to see you catch a stream. Jace is here catching his first stream. Fantastic people in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. This is great. Yeah, so the typography, yeah, so your personal site has so many awesome. I'm not sure if I'm clicking on like one of your top ones or whatever. I think they're all probably great, but like yeah, you've got a great portfolio, and we're actually going to be building off of one of these specifically. I think my favorites that I've seen might have been the oh man, there's just so many. The Trolley and the Adventure Time,
thanks
because
so much.
Trolley is like it's like a platformer game. And then the Adventure Time is kind of like a point and click adventure game, and you've got all these different experiences and games and marketing sites that are really incredible experience. Like you've got such a cool portfolio. I highly
Thanks
recommend that
so
people
much.
spend their time going through there. And I hope I'm saying this right. Do you work in Active Theory, or is that a previous
Yeah,
employee? You do.
no, yeah. I currently work for Active Theory, and it was my dream company to work for. So I mean, it's a pleasure to work with so many talented people. These two projects that you have mentioned, I have helped them with a lot of different animations, but it was a collaborative process of creating these amazing experiences that we usually build for the creative audience. Like when someone wants to do something crazy with 3D, they usually hire Active Theory to do
Yeah.
this kind of works. So yeah, it's just a pleasure to be able to learn all these things with them, and also give a little bit back to the community. Not all the secret sauce of everything, but the cool things that you can re-implement in your personal projects, which
Yeah,
is,
honestly, I
yeah,
would love to have you back on just to talk about because and I'm gonna cut my questions here because I know we've got so much to get to, but I can honestly talk to you about like active theory and your portfolio and the course that you put out I think we just dropped the link in there. This oh sorry, active theory. Do you use your own like proprietary Three.js kind of thing? Like you
yeah,
don't use Three.js on sites, you use your own proprietary framework, right? Is that
yeah,
accurate?
exactly. The way Active Theory have built their own ecosystem, like they have built everything from scratch, and it's called Hydra. So it's
Okay.
basically the proprietary framework of the company
Okay.
that helps us on building like all these crazy effects that you can see in the website. They are made from scratch using WebGL from scratch as well.
That's wild.
So it's the 3D engine that it's integrated a bunch of tools and stuff.
Yeah.
I think Michael is my boss. He have a video in Medium that also explains how some of these projects were built and how we usually approach the technical perspective at the company. Right? Just so you guys know, I work as a senior interactive developer, so so that's the role that I have. But yeah, that's basically it.
It's just like to me, I'm already like, gosh, I wish I could make cool things with Three.js, and then to go like 3 layers deeper and being like, you know what, Three.js isn't like custom enough for me. Like I'm gonna make my own Three.js and make it like performant for my specific use case. That just is like galaxy brain type thing for me. But yeah,
Yeah, for me
I
as
would.
well.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
Cool. But yeah,
yeah.
like that fascinates me because Three.js by itself is just so cool, and I'm excited to get into it. But yeah, I would love to have you back on, anyone from Active Theory, just to like kind of talk about that and try to wrap my brain around um, all of this because this stuff is just so cool, and I think the chat agrees that this is just like some of the um, more engaging, more exciting experiences on the web. Like even your homepage there, just like mousing over the thing and having the background change as you mouse over the button, like just super cool. Anyway, I could gush about this all day. I don't want to hold us up anymore. What are we building today?
Yeah, today, like I have mentioned, Three.js is just a fantastic library that I think you can do a lot of things writing less code. Usually for my types of personal projects, I usually use OGL, which is also another 3D library that
Okay.
simplify things a little bit. But you basically write all the shader code for those who are not familiar with shaders, that's the way we apply different types of effects and textures in the 3D models and in the geometries that we create using WebGL. I'm going to try to explain piece by piece, like explaining all the details, because probably not everyone knows all the deeper stuff about WebGL and how things works.
For sure,
Uh,
definitely, yeah. That's
but
definitely the a good read on myself and the audience in general. So yeah,
Cool. Yeah. So usually OGL is more lightweight. It doesn't have that many features, but you can write all the shaders from scratch. So that's why I have used it on this portfolio that you're sharing right now. But we are going to use Three.js because it's going to provide us a bunch of different features and also commands and materials that we're going to just use. They're just classes, different classes that you can initialize, and you can achieve a bunch of different things by
awesome.
initializing them. You don't need to write all the code from scratch every time that you're going to build something when you're using a 3D library like Three.js. And
Right.
it's also it's probably the most used for all the awards and all the websites that uses 3D. Even from huge companies like Apple, they also use the Three.js for for the 3D experiences that they build, like visualizers and stuff like that in their websites.
Cool.
Everything is using Three.js.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm glad you said that because I didn't want to make it sound like Active Theory is poo pooing on Three.js or anything like that. It's just you've just created a tailor made solution where Three.js can solve a whole bunch of problems for a ton of people, and it sounds like Active Theory has created a thing to solve specific problems for them, but.
Yeah,
Three.js
exactly.
is a fantastic framework. Anyone out there, like I didn't mean to have anyone go, oh, so I shouldn't learn Three.js, and then turn around and walk
Oh,
away from it,
absolutely
right?
not.
Right? It's
Yeah,
it's it's
I
excellent.
think
So
all the libraries that we have, like in the market, they are useful for they solve different problems, and
right.
you can use anything that you want. I think what we need to aim for is making the clients happy, no matter what library or technology that you're using. So yeah, I totally think that I'm super open about everything. So when students come to me and ask me about, oh, what do you think about this? Even React, which I don't use that much, and sometimes I complain about some things because I think that's too difficult for me because I usually use my code from using plain JavaScript. So
Cool.
I think, but it solves a bunch of problems and a bunch of different things that I don't need to solve these problems right now. But when I need to have to solve these problems, I will probably pick up React and use that for
Cool.
solving these
So
other problems.
use the tool that best suits the problem, right?
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so this is a case study, right? That goes over, and Life asked a great question. We can touch on that. So we've got a feature here where people can record by using exclamation mark I wonder, or just exclamation mark wonder. What use cases is OGL better suited for than Three.js? And then we've also got a TIL. Oh, hold on, let me toggle that again. Oh, did it go for the same one? I wonder OGL is a thing. Weird. TIL is broken. Yeah, okay. I screwed up implementing TIL because today I learned. Yeah, that's my fault. So that should be on this page. But basically, it just gives them it gives you chat a way to record questions to make sure that we don't miss them, or that if it's too much of a derailing kind of thing to go after those questions right now, we will get it at the end. So sorry about the TIL being wonky. I thought I set TIL up to work. I even put it in the little description, so that's my fault. Let me see if I can fix that right now. I learned. Cool. All right. Um, sorry to derail. I love that the chat is using that. Thank you so much. So this is a case study for Lufthansa. I think I'm saying that right. That you worked on, correct?
Yeah, that's one of my first WebGL projects that I had the chance to really go deeper into the Three.js API. And what we're going to build today is kind of like a mix between this type of globe and other techniques that you're going to implement. Like we're basically going to build a globe using the normal materials that you have from Three.js.
Cool.
And then we're going to apply some shaders in some particles that are going to be around the globe, just to not take, because this type of projects, they take a little bit of time to be polished, and it's basically almost impossible to build something complex as this in just a few hours. So we are going to build something similar, but that's going to serve the purpose of demonstrating how we can work with Three.js and create a globe that you can drag and drop, drag to rotate that, not drag and drop, but just drag to rotate the globe, and some particles around that.
Awesome.
This one is using a bunch of different techniques. So for the globe, we're just using a simple material from Three.js. The circles and the gradient that we have around that, it's basically PNGs. So it's funny because sometimes when you see something in the WebGL um, in a WebGL website, you wonder, oh, how it was implemented. Everything was shaders, and that's not necessarily true. Sometimes you
That's
use
really clever.
just PNGs for tricking the user.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
So
and yeah, for the
what
clusters,
you're
it's
talking about, just so
particles.
that the chat, I'm not positive if everyone gets what you're saying. The lighting here, right? Like that the
Yeah,
rim lighting that's kind of like, it seems like the sun's right behind the Earth, and it's doing this like cool like ring light. But you're saying that's not actually that, because you have to figure that out with shaders, and you have to figure out like how to do that. You're saying it's just a PNG. It's just
yeah,
a white circle PNG basically.
yeah. It's just a large circle PNG that also the same size of the circle of the globe in
Right.
that case. And the gradient that is behind that is also another
Got
PNG.
it.
Usually, you can also achieve these kinds of different effects using WebGL. For example, there is one, I think it's called Fresnel, that you can basically create a ring light inside of the 3D object.
Okay.
But if you want to save some performance, you can also achieve the same effect by just creating a plane
That's really
that you can
clever.
apply the PNG on top of things. That was
Really
something
cool.
that I have learned in this specific project. Usually, I think for some activity websites, we usually use the other approach, like Fresnel, and we activate and deactivate that based on the user's device performance. But for this
Got
one,
it.
we're going to use a PNG.
Yeah, it's gonna get
Yeah,
us there a lot quicker. And I can't tell that like if you would ask me how you did that, I would assume it was something in the shader. I don't know enough,
yeah,
so that's awesome. Cool. Should I go to the next page or
yeah. Let's dive into
so
the
it's just
this page. Yeah,
Three.js?
this is the homepage of the 3JS library. Basically, you can see a bunch of different websites that have used 3JS for when they're built. So often are using that.
Yeah.
And the good thing about 3JS is that you can see a bunch of different examples in the examples link on the left menu. I think
Right.
if you click, yeah, you can see that when I was learning WebGL, I was kind of overwhelmed about how many different examples you have. And oh, when are you going to use these different things?
Right.
Sometimes it's mostly about what you need for your project. So let's say if you need particles, you can use the search, type particles on that.
Okay.
Uh,
So I'm getting lost in
yeah,
my own thing.
all
So fun.
good.
Um, cool.
Yeah, and then you have a bunch of different examples on
Got
how you
it.
can implement particles using 3JS. Uh,
Got it.
and in the left corner, because the chat is on top of the video, you also have the code
Got window.
icon, yeah, that you can click.
I was
This
gonna
is going
ask
to,
you where do you yeah like I see the example, so now I click the code button and that takes me to
yeah,
here. Got it. Okay. And then yeah, so basically so the idea for most of these examples is like they're kind of distilled down to one or two ideas, so you should be able to for the most part figure
reproduce.
out like
Yeah,
what's happening in the example because it's not that long of an example. A lot of this stuff is the Three.js boilerplate type stuff where like you're adding a camera, you're creating a scene, right?
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and then you can pull out like if I type particles, that's the name of that. Might not be there. Okay, so here's where it's happening. Pounds particles, new 3 points. So are you going to use the points object or the points? I'm not sure what the right term is there.
It's basically a class. It's
Class, cool.
3JS, yeah, 3 dot points. Then you're going to initialize different points in the scene, but you need to pass a geometry and also the material. The material can be like just another simplified version of the material, or it can be a shader material. So the good thing about 3JS is are things like this, which you not necessarily need to write shaders for pretty much everything. They do already have like a standard particle class that wraps up all the shaders that you would need to create from scratch if you would initialize a shader material.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
I'm not sure I get that, but I think we will as we start to build it out. So that's
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
cool.
We can
Once
understand
we
all the
start to
different
see it,
pieces, how they
yeah,
conversate together when we start building the demonstration. Yeah.
awesome. Cool. So, is there a specific example that we went from here?
Yeah, we are going to use two different examples from the 3JS
Cool.
website. The first one is going to be this material. This is basically gives us different shininess based on, as you can see, we have a bunch of different dots in the scene, and they have different arguments in the mesh pong material that
Got it.
you can play around with, and you have different results. We're going to use a material like this to build the globe, which is basically going to be it's going to be a sphere that we are going to apply the material on top of the sphere. So the sphere is going to be the geometry that you're going to use.
Okay.
And the material that you're going to apply, we're going to figure out together using different things that we are going to use different textures and also different values so we can achieve the same globe that we had from the example, but using this kind of materials.
Awesome.
Then after that, I think we are also going to jump into some particles. These article is more deeper in the shader realm. So we are going to basically work a little bit with shaders together just to
Cool.
have something like the galaxy around the globe that you're going to build.
Nice.
But this is basically going to be the example and the demo that you're going to do.
Got it. I love that you showed us kind of not just that like, hey, I'm pulling this out of thin air, I'm pulling this out of my head, but look, Three.js has this great resource. These examples are very useful. I'm going in and I'm finding two of these examples, and we're gonna like draw code kind of directly from that, and that's how people can work too, like to create their own things. They can go in, find, and there are, I think it's safe to say hundreds, if not, it seems like over 1,000 examples, water, all kinds of stuff. So whatever you want to do, oh God, some of the stuff is just so fun. These demos are great. Whatever you want to do, there's probably at least one example, maybe a couple examples that will help you get halfway there. So that's really cool.
Exactly. The good thing about working with creative development is that you can prototype a bunch of different things all the time. Like a designer is going to come to you, ask you to do some, oh, I saw this effect or I have this idea. And then you're probably going, someone else have already made good progress for you to achieve the same idea and the same effects before. Because the good thing, WebGL kind of intersects with game development because most of the shaders you can reuse and use the
Nice.
same techniques in other types of like other types of projects, games, for example, and yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
I
and
kind of
even
confusing
like
myself, but yeah.
no, and then movies also, right? Like it's the same kind of thing for CGI in movies. They use like
Oh, yeah, exactly.
shaders also. So yeah, I that's one thing that whenever we do shaders on here, I'm like, this isn't just like a fun thing where you can like make a cool ball on your website. Like if you want to get into game design or movies ever, shaders are how you get there to make things look cool. But I love that we can do it on the web too. And yeah, like you said, we can pull from those different industries and say this is a really cool metal shader that some game developer made. Boom! It's now on my website. I am now. Someone in chat, Life, he's this great guy in our community. His site, he has a bust of his own head, and it's so awesome. He's got like a cool marble material on there. He can grab like a game shader and throw it on himself, and all set there. Yeah, there. Yeah, let me just super quick throw it up there. It'll load in three. Yeah. So right, like
Oh, yeah,
he
that's
can use
awesome.
any kind of a shader on there from anywhere. So it's just a cool thing. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So let's get started. We've got a good understanding of where we're going now. How do we get started here? Do I want to bring in Three.js?
Yeah, let's first bring up the libraries that you're going to use. Three.js, I think you can, yeah.
The,
I'm not that much familiar with the CodeSpan stuff, but yeah, if you search, you can just
cool.
grab the
We've got
latest Three.js
Three.js.
version.
Do we want anything else?
I think for now we just need Three.js because we
Okay,
are
cool.
going to create the globe, and I think the
Got it.
code is not going to be that big. But yeah,
Cool.
the first step of any WebGL example is creating the camera, the scene, and the renderer. The renderer is going to be the canvas that the scene is going to be rendered, and the camera is responsible for creating the user's perspective of the scene that we're creating.
Cool.
So I think just to save up some time, we can go to the Three.js examples or the
Okay.
Three.js website, which they do already have some code that you can reuse. So if you go to the homepage, I think we have a getting started page.
Awesome.
Or
Documentation. Getting started. There we go.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah, in the documentation. Yeah. So
Awesome.
they usually have this step by step. If you just copy and paste this,
Should I copy and paste
creating
that
the
one
scene.
or something further down? Should I do the result?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, let's copy the script that you have.
Cool.
Yeah, from this snippet here. This is going to give us some, at least something that we can see. But
Nice.
uh,
Yeah, that worked
yeah,
perfect.
awesome.
Cool.
So just to explain how the code is working, let's just go line by line with everyone. So
Love
yeah,
it.
the first thing we are creating the scene that is going to render all the elements that you're going to apply to the scene. Then we have the camera. This is a perspective camera. It's kind of like you are seeing something through a camera in the 3D perspective.
Or with your own
We have
eyes,
other,
right? It works the same way that you're used to.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true. Thanks for also adding these
Yeah.
cool tips, cool points during, yeah. So yeah, that's it. We also have different types of cameras like I forgot the name of the other one, but we have other one that is more
Orthographic
isometric,
and then yeah,
photographic one.
yeah.
Yeah, this is going to give us different results, but for now we want to use the perspective because we are seeing that from the we want to see that from the perspective camera point of view.
Sounds good.
And then we have the render. Um, 3JS in the past used to have a canvas renderer, but it was only a fallback in case the user didn't have WebGL enabled. Nowadays, even smartphones have WebGL enabled, and some of them are also using WebGL 2, which is a second type of the API. So we are creating the render, setting the
Cool.
size of the render to be the window inner width and window inner height. That gives us the size of the render. Then we're applying the DOM element, in that case is the canvas, to the body of the page.
Got it.
You can manually create that, passing a DOM element to the WebGL render class, but we are not going to do that. You can just append that.
Cool.
And finally, we have the two things that Three.js is going to simplify our lives a lot compared with creating that from scratch using plain WebGL code,
Yeah.
which is giving the geometry that we need and also the materials that we want to apply to this specific geometry. So in that case, we're creating a box, applying a basic material that doesn't have any lights or reflections.
Right.
So that's why they are purely green. And then we're applying that to a mesh. The mesh is the class that wraps up the geometry and the material, blend these two things together, and then we apply that to the scene. The scene now contains the cube, and then we position the camera a little bit further from the cube, and then we just rotate the cube in the X and Y axes.
Awesome.
The first time I saw some 3ds code, I was overwhelmed because I wasn't able to understand or get a grasp about everything, and it comes with the time. Like I never thought that I was going to be able to do crazy projects like the ones I have done. But in the end, after you just study and if in case you need to build something, you start prototyping that with the designer. Everyone can do crazy projects using 3JS and any other WebGL library after
Thank you for saying
diving
that,
into
because
the.
one thing that we're trying to do as a community is kind of like admit that we're all learning. Say that you didn't start knowing how to make incredible things. You were confused when you first saw this too. So thank you for saying that, because I mean I'm here learning this. I'm not an expert in this at all. So yeah, just that. Thanks for that, because I think that's helpful for the chat to not feel like this guy is just born a genius. He was just a baby genius when he was coding this stuff ever since he was little, right? Like
Oh, absolutely
we
not.
all get a little
Yeah,
overwhelmed when we see this for the first time. And
yeah,
Eric,
that's
thank you for
true.
the follow. Good to see you. Cool. Awesome. So it
Awesome.
looks like we're set, right?
Yeah. Now I think we can start just creating some a sphere together. If
Cool.
you go to I'm always going to reference back to the 3GS website because, as I have mentioned, it does have all the examples that we need. So if you
Cool.
search for geometry, you're going to be able to see all the different geometries that 3GS creates for us.
Awesome.
It is in the examples, or
Oh, in the examples or in
you can, yeah, you can search in the examples, or you can search from the
cool.
API, checking the docs. So let's see, maybe.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
So
if you scroll down a bit, we are going to use the
that's
sphere geometry,
do we want the
but
California geometry? Because that's a popular one. I mean, I know we're making a globe. We could do all of the things at once. Buffer geometry
yeah,
compression.
that's true.
Yeah, I'm not seeing
Uh,
like pure. I mean, I'm seeing a lot
yeah,
of geometry stuff, but I'm not seeing one that's just like here are your basic things, but
Yeah, I
that's a
think
bit different.
we
That's like a heat map or something. That's
Yeah, let's
interesting.
go to the other tab. I think it was a
Cool.
good idea to open
Cool.
up the docs. So if you search for geometry, we have a bunch of them.
Right.
Box, circle. We're going to use the sphere. And
Cool.
as you guys can see, it shows also the code example of each one of the geometries and how you can apply that. When I was starting as well, it was hard for me to understand how to find things properly. But in that case, I think everything is more organized nowadays. So if you search for something like how can I create a sphere using Three.js in Google, you're going to find something that is going to give you how you can implement that.
Cool.
We're going to use the sphere geometry because we want to build a globe. But in case you want to build like a desk or something, you want to use other types of geometries.
Yeah, there's some
Probably
cool
the
ones.
box. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can also export 3D models. So the 3D model stuff, we're not going to approach that for this demo that we're going to build, but you can also load 3D objects from Blender or other 3D or other 3D software and load this into your WebGL experiences.
Awesome.
Kind of like the same demo that we opened up with the shader, reflective shader with the head of someone. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
one
yeah,
of the
with life, yeah. Yeah, that's really, yeah, so he made that from pictures that he had taken of his head and then took it in the blender or something and cleaned it up and then yeah, imported it into Three.js. So uh awesome. So we got our sphere. Should I copy this bit?
Yeah, let's copy this bit and
Cool.
let's paste that in the place of the current cube that we have.
Cool.
So
So
yeah, you can.
popping that in. And we got to get rid of this, right? Because we're not rotating a cube. It's going to yell at me. And it
Yeah.
yelled at me. And is it still going to yell? It seems like it. Nope. Okay.
Mm.
I'm trying to click the error, but it doesn't want to show me the error. I'm going to hit save. Hopefully that triggers. I don't know. Did I break it? Formatting. So
I'm not sure if
sometimes
the
CodePen sometimes has rough patches where it goes down for a little bit. Let's hope that this is not one of those days. I'm hitting refresh on the page. That might have been risky. All right, chat. Know any good jokes? Just while we wait. Yeah, we'll see. Only clean jokes though, chat. Make sure they're clean. I don't want to get banned from
in
Twitch.
trouble.
You can't curse on Twitch, is what I heard. I'm kidding. Yeah. So we'll see. This might be a processing finished. Great. This might be an indicator that we should take this local. We'll see. All right. Closing out of that one. All right. Cool. We are over here now. We've got sphere. Cool. All right.
Yeah, we cannot see the sphere for some reason. I think it's probably the size because the camera is inside of the
Inside it.
sphere.
Got it. Should we just do one
Yeah,
one one?
we can try or we can change the camera position.
Huh.
Yeah, because the sphere it's made by a bunch of different vertices, and you
Oh,
can play with these vertices when you're initializing the sphere geometry.
right.
So one, I think, is just purely a square, like
Got it.
without the.
Because what I did essentially there was I just dropped I dropped the radius maybe down to one, but then also the width segments and the height segments, right? So I dropped it down to
Yeah,
basically a polygon, and so we're just seeing like the one polygon inside. Cool. So we need
I think
like
we can, yeah, use the radius as 5 and include like 30 for both of them. Like,
cool.
yeah.
All right, nice. Uh,
Something that is important is to not go that crazy with the amount of vertices that you have because that impacts the performance of the application.
got it.
So
So we went 30 and 30, you said?
yeah, 30 and 30. That
Cool.
sounds good.
So I dropped it down to one
This
just
way
so
we
you can
have,
see it.
yeah, cool.
Got some
And
good jokes in chat. Thank you, chat. Appreciate you keeping it entertaining in here. Cool.
yeah, now I think we can start applying the textures in this
Awesome.
sphere that are
Okay.
going to represent the globe. So I have
Awesome.
shared with you some assets. I'm not
Yep.
sure if you want to show that
Yeah. I'll pull those
to
up. Give me
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let
Cool.
me. I told you I was uploading them, but then I got distracted by something, so I did not upload them yet. I can do that right
Oh, good.
now and show everyone how to upload assets to CodePen. Let's hope the drag and drop thing works. It sometimes does not. Oh, it gets a little funky. It might try to open these up in a new. Yep, it opened them. All right, hold on. I'll do it one at a time, maybe. That sometimes works. It's not working. All right, so I'm going in. 1, 2, 3, 4, grabbing those. And so, yeah, it's uploading these. And I guess I can show them here. Yeah, so here's one of them, right?
Yeah.
And I can show, I'll just drop them. Oh, boy. Not having a great time dragging and dropping. All right, cool. So this one's a bump map. Is that correct?
Yeah. So
Cool.
the first one was a diffuse or the diffuse map or the standard map is
Okay.
basically the color of the element, the 3D element.
Got it.
Because we're using a sphere, we don't need to worry about UVs and things like that. But UV is usually when you create a 3D model, you need to wrap this kind of textures in your 3D model. And to achieve that, you basically wrap the UVs. This is something that is more for the 3D designers, because when you work as a creative developer for 3D websites, you don't necessarily need to create all these assets from scratch. You can
Got it.
ask for someone to provide these assets for you, or you can download them from the web,
Yeah, there's
from
lots of
websites
good,
like
like,
TurboSquid.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and there's all these like
Yeah,
texture sites that have lots of good things like that. I mean, like back to the game design thing, there are lots of, game designers who have maps and they're cartoon styles or they're very realistic. Like these kinds of resources are out there. So, yeah, that's a great point.
yeah, that they are super cool, and you can share these assets between the different industries, which is fantastic as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the fuse one.
Cool.
We are going to wrap this one around the sphere. Usually I
Okay.
use my hands to demonstrate these things, but let's say this is the sphere,
Yeah.
and then we are wrapping up the PNG around that. So
Cool.
that's what's going to give us the look and feel of the globe. For the bump map, this is going to be used for creating. It's kind of like terrain on the sphere that gives us some. I forgot the word in English, but it's kind of like
The
ups
elevation.
and
So like
downs,
what's
elevations.
what's
Yeah,
white is going to be higher and what's black is going to be lower, right?
exactly.
Cool.
Yeah, thanks for helping me out.
No
Yeah,
worries.
this is basically what this texture is going to do.
Awesome.
We have other types of textures like normal maps, which is basically another texture that help us on doing other types of calculations and stuff like that. But when
Yeah,
you need
those are a
one
bit
of
more
these, you're going to know
advanced.
that.
Yeah, like the
Yeah,
normal maps, I don't fully like they come out like blue and purple and pink, and I kind of get it. I can't like wrap my head around. This is like not Boolean, but it's like a sliding gradient from 0 to 1, right? Like it's either black
yeah,
or it's white. Normal maps get in this like I don't know why it's blue or this like it's a cool color kind of thing. Normal maps. Yeah, like
yeah.
that's a brick texture. I don't know what in there is telling it to be brick, but it comes out looking great. That gets a bit more complex. And then there's like shiny textures that like I
Hmm.
or shine maps that I forget. I used to do 3D modeling and texturing and stuff, so I'm kind of familiar with that world. Super rusty on it though. But it's a lot of fun. Blender stuff's a lot of fun. I love that whole thing. So I'm excited to put that on. And then okay, that's that same one. And then I got another one. Let me drop that one here. So that is what you were talking about earlier. That's going to
Yeah,
be our
the ring
glow.
lighting, yeah, that we're going to put around the globe.
That's really
And that's going to
clever.
give the feeling that, yeah, the globe is kind of like shining.
Yeah, it's like backlit. Yeah, that's awesome. And then that's going to be for the background.
Yeah, for the background, just
Super cool.
sitting behind the globe. Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, these are the textures that we have. I think we can start applying them in the sphere, and we can check also go back to the Three.js examples.
Cool. And chat is coming
And
in saying, first off, Sam, good to see you. Samuel Horns here. Bump and displacement. Yeah, like yeah, there's I think the normal map is for a display. I forget the
Yeah,
terminology. Is that what it is?
I
The
think it's
normal.
displacement. Yeah.
Cool.
Mhm.
And then XYZ as RGB. Oh, yeah, because normal maps can also go like sideways, right? That's the big difference is that a bump map, the black and white one, can only go like up and down, but I think normal maps can kind of like take pixel or take like your fragment shader in different directions or something. I don't know. Super cool. We're not going to get any deeper into it because that's going to be a whole thing unto itself. But if anyone wants to come on and do like in-depth shader like materials on something, that would be a really cool episode. But today we're just getting into this globe. So sorry, what were we saying?
Oh, yeah, I totally agree. That would be super cool to have. Just explaining all the different shaders pieces. That would
Yeah,
be super cool. We can search for material in the docs. That's going to
cool,
give us a bunch of different materials that we can apply to
awesome.
the stuff. I think we're going to use the Fong material because it's going to give us some lightening and stuff. The mesh Fong material.
Ah, thank you. I was like, I don't see it down there. Yeah, cool. Mesh volume material.
Yeah,
Is that one of the shiny ones?
yeah, this one gives us some shining reflections based on some lightning that you can apply to the
Cool.
environment. So if you expand the tree material, you can change the ambient light, but you can play with the opacity,
Got it.
the alpha, and yeah, you need to enable transparency in that
Ah,
case.
that makes
So you need,
sense. Cool.
yeah, so you can create a review animation for the globe if you want to.
Nice.
But yeah,
That's
that's
smart.
something that is possible.
Huh.
And let's open up the last panel. This, yeah, keeps, there's a bunch of things that are specific uh, to how you are going to render uh,
Got
the
it.
3D model. You can disable how the depth of that. So you can make that always on top of all the other elements. That's why these checkbox are used to.
Cool.
Anyway, yeah, just a side note. We're going to apply the two maps here. I think if you search for map in this page, you're going to see that it's an argument that you can pass as a parameter.
Bump
So,
map.
like we have
The
discussed
AO
it, you
map.
can have the bump,
Oh yeah,
the
an
ambient
ambient
occlusion map,
occlusion.
yeah, then the alpha, just to create different masks and stuff. But
Right.
we're going to use just the map, if I'm not
Got it.
mistaken.
Cool. Color map
Yeah,
default as
and
well.
then yeah, and for the bump, we're going to use
Black and
let me
white
just
one.
check. Yeah, we're going to use the black and white one.
Awesome.
So yeah,
All
just
right. Cool.
checking my tools here as well.
Yeah. No, that sounds right. And then
Yeah, we're
we'll
going to use
probably
the
have to
bump map
tweak
and the bump
this.
scale. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. All right, great. So so I'm guessing and like I said, I am not at all the expert here. I'm guessing copy as we're gonna do just as a URL and then
Yeah.
we're gonna do like so we're changing the material to that Fong, right? So three.
Yeah.
So is it mesh Fong?
Mesh Fong material. And then in the arguments, you're going to pass more stuff to that because you can have more
Cool.
options by including the Fong. For the Fong to be rendered, I'm pretty sure we need to include an ambient light. And so we can see that in the screen.
Got it. Because the
Uh,
basic wood doesn't need light, so it didn't matter. But
yeah,
now that we're
it just
using
renders that.
cool. Okay. Should we do that first?
Yeah, let's do that first so we can see the Fong material.
Great.
So you can just create const light or ambient light, and then a new tree dot. I think it's ambient light as well. We can check in the docs always, but yeah, front head, I think you can just create a new ambient light, and you
Cool.
can pass a color to that. So yeah,
Is
ambient
it
light.
0x FF?
Yeah,
Is that
and
right?
then the second argument is the intensity of that. Actually, we don't create objects. It's just the
Got it.
color yeah, color
And
and then the
then
light. Yeah.
like one is that
hmm
what's yeah, would that be a
That's
good
the
intensity?
intensity. Yeah, the
Okay.
intensity of the light. You can
Cool.
have like 0.1, that would make the light less intensity on the light. And then we need to apply the light to the scene using scene.add ambient light.
Oh, right. I'm like, why is that not working? I always trip up on that. Someone in chat, I'm not sure if you can read chat there underneath us. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Cool. Just making. I can't read that. I could try to read it out loud, but I'm going to do a poor job of it.
He said that he forgot that it was going to have a live stream.
Got it.
That's happening.
Cool.
Yeah, now we can see the foam material because we have applied the ambient light.
Nice.
Usually, I think we can use a point light
Cool.
as well, just to start to see the
Some
reflections on
depth.
this material.
Nice.
Yeah, some depth, because
Uh,
probably we need to turn down the ambient light a little bit to make that look to appear. Yeah, 3-point light, and then the same stuff that you have for the ambient light. You can just pass the color,
do we need a
and
position for this? We're gonna set that after.
we can set the position. Point light dot position dot set, and you can pass the different 3 arguments. Yeah, it can be. Let's use 0, 0, and then we can pass like 5.
Cool.
That's going to create light in the x-axis, z-axis at 5.
And then we'll add it.
We can, yeah, we need to turn down the ambient light
Yeah,
just
it's gonna
to start to
it's
see
just
that.
bleaching out our scene, right? It's just making it so that
Yeah,
let's just make it like that. Cool. Okay, so we're seeing it more. And yeah, it's like
yeah,
it's the light's coming from pretty much from us, right? Like from directly on the camera.
yeah. We can play with that a little bit more,
Cool.
depending on how it's going to look. But for now, let's keep this way because we can see the
Works for me.
small. These things I usually recommend for every developer to study a little bit about that GUI. That is basically a library that you can play with different values, and then that's the one that we're using in the 3ds demos to display different colors and stuff. That's very useful for 3D designers. You
Yeah.
can send a link of the build to a 3D designer. They can play with these different things,
Good point.
and yeah,
Yeah,
you
they
can
can
just
tweak
update the
things a lot
values.
easier. They don't have to go into the code. They don't have to wait for CodePen to refresh or whatever your build is. They can play with it and it updates live just as this is updating live. Well,
Yeah,
it didn't do much, but yeah, in that same way, and they can dial in exactly the look that they want. That's a great tip.
cool. Yeah. And then let's start including the maps. We can start
Right.
because now let's keep the lights this way. We can always
Yeah.
change that later, but yeah. We can pass, we need to pass the map for
Okay.
that. And the map basically accepts texture. So in that case, I'm also checking my tips here. Yeah, let's create a new texture, const map texture
Oh,
outside
right.
of the, yeah.
Cool. So
And I think
do
it
it.
needs to be, before the material. So yeah.
Cool tip from Wafi says you can also use tweak pane, which is an alternative to dat.gui. Interesting.
Oh, nice.
Haven't heard of that one, but
Super
thanks for that
interesting.
tip. Yeah. Dat.gui is definitely a good one. Tweak pane. I gotta check that out. James, DM me with that or drop that in the Discord chat sometime. It'd be great to give that a look. Cool. You got a map texture, new,
Yeah, tree.texture.
just like that.
And I think you can pass the URL to the texture. We
Cool.
can
I
also
don't.
use texture loader, but
Oh
hopefully
yeah.
that's also going to
Okay.
work.
Cool. So got that there.
And then we can just pass that as the map for the,
Can I do that in this
to see
object, or do I have to do material.map or anything?
inside the object. You can
Cool.
also do material.map, but you can also initialize that.
But I can do it while I'm cool.
Yeah,
Awesome. So something happened. I don't know if it's good.
something happened. Yeah, right now I think we also need to call texture map texture dot needs update equals true, because we're initializing that from the in a different way without using texture loader. So
Ah. So where do I put
yeah,
that in
before
animate?
it's after the map texture declaration, you don't
Okay.
need to include that in the animate. Yeah. map texture dot needs update equals true.
So is that because like this is gonna be like an async thing, and this is basically getting an undefined texture at the
I'm not,
start?
yeah, not 100% sure.
Okay.
Let me, oh yeah, I think we also need to set the wrap to be, because I think it's repeating the,
What's
yeah,
weird?
I think it's repeating the texture multiple times in the different vertices that we have of the Earth. So
Got it.
you can also pass map texture dot also before in the decoration after
Cool.
the yeah uh, wrap wrap s
Wrap S.
yeah
Cool.
three
Sorry. Wrap S equals
uh,
3.
equals
Cool.
three uppercase three from the library three repeat wrapping dot repeat wrapping sorry yeah
All good. And should
yeah
that be new 3 or?
just this way, it's a
Okay.
constant that
Okay.
is
Cool. Cool. Cool.
available through the library. And then you can wrap the T as well. You can copy and paste this line and replace the S with the T.
Okay.
Then we are going to also use the repeat. We're going to change the repeat of that. So texture.repeat
So map texture dot repeat.
set one under 1,1. I'm not 100% sure if that's going to work because but these things are good for setting the wrapping of the material in that
Got it. Yeah,
case.
because we only want it to wrap once, where with some textures you might want it to repeat a bunch of times before it gets its way back around.
Yeah, and I have noticed what's happening. Like I've mentioned, we have the three the texture loader,
Mm-hmm.
but we are creating that from scratch. So we need to also initialize the image because we need to pass an image to the tree.texture. Sorry about that. It's just because I'm not that much use it with the
All good. All good. No,
Three.js API.
no need to
Uh,
apologize. Like I said, we're gonna make mistakes. We're gonna forget some stuff. We're gonna hit some bugs. Chat
yeah,
is super supportive.
Yeah, the first thing is let's remove the string of the URL from this and let's
Cool.
create a new image. We are going to manually create the image and pass the new image to the texture.
But
So we're going
like a DOM element image.
you can create that from the JavaScript side. So
Okay.
const image or maybe map image
Cool.
equals document create or new image. Sorry, you can create document, but let's use new image for that.
So document.new image is that
Just a new image. Sorry, we don't need the document
okay? Equals new
image.
image.
Yeah,
Is it capital I?
and then
I haven't done this.
capital.
Oh, here we go. Cool.
Yeah, capital I. Yeah,
All right. New
and
image.
this is a class. Yeah, and then you
Cool.
can map image. You just go to the next line. Map image dot cross orange equals anonymous, just to prevent any possible cross orange errors. So
So is that a capital O?
yeah,
Cool.
that's right.
ORIGIN equals, and that's in quotes, I assume. ANO. And spelling anonymous
Yeah, anonymous.
is one of my Achilles heels. ANONY. See how many times I've Googled it? You see this, chat? You see this? I got it right that one
Yeah.
time. So yeah, I always screw up one of the things. I would get kicked out of Anonymous just for never spelling it correctly. Um, and then do we
And then
drop mad that in?
yeah,
No,
you
we
can
can't.
pass
Okay.
that, and then you need to set the image
Like the
source
href?
as the
Oh,
the
right, right.
src
The source. Yeah. Thank you.
yeah as
And
the previous string that we had.
cool. And because of Anonymous, I've lost my clipboard. So let's grab this, copy as URL. And I love what Daniel Cruz said. You learn the most from mistakes. It's so spot on. Totally agree with that. Anonymous. Yeah, anonymous. That's exactly how I can never figure it out. Whoa, we got it.
Yeah, now we start to see a few things. The problem about WebGL development is that when you sometimes you just have the black screen and
Yeah.
you need to figure out what's happening. So it's very hard to debug. Like it's
Yeah.
super
You
hard
can't
sometimes.
just like you can console log stuff, but it's not like with like CSS where you can like easily tweak or add red borders as I'm sure you have those strategies of that same sort of thing, but yeah, I've been stuck with black backgrounds for longer than I would sometimes like. But
Me too.
that's
Yeah.
okay. Cool. Love hearing
Yeah,
that.
that's the first texture. We can also include the other one. You can basically copy and paste the all the
These
map
bits.
initialization and use that, rename that as
Map
map bump
bump.
or yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. And then
And
we can
then
do wait. Oh, and then we have to do
yeah.
the same map texture thing. So const map
Mhm.
bump texture equals new three dot
I really like
texture.
the way you create the variables because that's exactly the way I also create mine. Like it's literally the same way.
Awesome.
The naming and stuff.
Learning from the best. And then was it map bump? I'm going back to the docs.
It's just bump.
Okay,
From my
cool.
mind, I think it's just bump, but you
Or
can.
is it
Oh
bump
yeah,
map?
it's
I
bump
think it's
map.
bump
I
map
think
and bump scale.
it's up to
Cool.
date. Cool.
Bump map is the bump map texture, and then bump scale. What do you think for that? Should we just see
I
what
think
we
you can
got?
use 5 just to see that really bumping the
Yeah.
globe. I,
See if we can see a difference. Not sure. Should we move the light above? It can sometimes be tough if the light's right
yeah.
where the camera is, right? It has like the flash effect of making things look flat.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree. Let's move that a little bit upper. It's the
which
second
ones?
argument. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
positive
the
number.
Y.
Cool. So like
The
three.
I think it is a positive number.
All right. So it's up. I'm not sure if I can see. There might be some shadow there. I can't totally
Yeah, this one is
tell.
very light. Like this bump map is very subtle. It's not that
Okay,
visible,
got it.
but yeah.
There might be something happening there. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe let's scale the
Let
sphere a little bit more as well,
should we
like
try to
using
remove it and see
three.
if there's a difference?
Yeah, we can remove that
Okay, yeah,
just to notice.
I'll do what you said because you are the person who's making this.
Oh, don't worry. Yeah, we can. Let's first thing,
Scale.
let's
What was
increase the
this?
size of the
Yeah.
globe.
Where is that?
So
Ah, here.
it's in the
So
sphere geometry. Yeah, let's use 3 or 5 or 4 just to
okay.
keep that see
See
that
what
closer.
3 does. Cool. It's not
Cool.
updating when we resize. Should we handle that real quick?
Yeah, let's also include that. So let's include a listener, a window add event listener resize, and then can set the render size to the window inner width and window inner height.
Cool. So I think I got it so far. And then you said window
Yeah,
or
renderer, set size, and then you can pass the width of the browser,
okay.
window inner width, and comma window inner height.
And that should just take care of it.
Yeah, I think that's just going to work now. If you keep
Right,
dragging.
but we still have the
Yeah, we need to change the aspect of the camera as well. So, if I'm not mistaken, uh,
hold on real quick. Chat is spotting some stuff. Chat, sorry for not seeing it. Thank you to Life for tagging me. I really appreciate it. I need to be keeping a better eye on chat. Um, they are spotting some issues. Life said maybe loop over an array for init. Not sure what that was referring to. Sorry, but do we need to apply the mapping to the bump map too? Let me do a better job of organizing this. So map texture, then we got geometry, and there's bump
someone mentioned that we don't need the wrap S and wrap T. I kind of agree. I think that was just some
debugging.
boilerplate code that I had.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can remove
So
that.
should we get
Yeah,
rid of this and see? Does the bump map need update texture true?
I think so, because
Okay.
otherwise that's not going to be updated. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Oh, so we are definitely seeing it now. Good call, chat. That is definitely the
Yeah,
bump map. That's the intensity that we're looking for. We might dial it back a little bit because
yeah,
that is. So what that's doing is I'm guessing is actually taking like the pixelation here. Like it's interesting because it seems to be a bit blurrier here, but that might just be the way that Chrome is like blurring those pixels together because it's
yeah.
probably
Right now, what's kind of I think what's creating these different things is the bump scale. I think it needs to be
right.
just one because that's I think the amount of times that it gets repeated. I'm not sure, but
Got it.
let's double check.
Yeah, it's still kind of funky, so you might just take it there. I wonder if there's like a bump smoothing effect because that's still a little intense. Like a bump blur
Yeah,
slightly might be cool, but
I think we
um,
can use. Yeah.
good eye, chat. Image sources are all on color. Oh, it's still set to the diffuse for bump. Do you know what that
Oh yeah.
means?
Let me check. Yeah, the earth color. I think we just need to change the source because it's using the same diffuse. That's true. They got it.
Oh, thank you.
We need
That's
to change the
totally my
asset.
fault.
Yeah.
Yes, totally my fault. Earth bump desktop. Wait, okay, bump desktop. Thank you. So it should be named the same thing. I'm gonna copy the image, copy URL, Earth color desktop, Earth bump desktop. Thank you, chat. Good eyes. See. Okay, nice. Okay, that's looking more like what I expect. It's still a little pixelated, but way more in the realm of like that's what
Yeah.
we were expecting because there was too much data in that other one, right? Like there shouldn't have been that much data
Mhm.
happening here. Thank you so much. Good eyes, chat. Did I tell you the chat is supportive and helpful and just
Yeah,
wonderful?
they're
Thank you for
awesome.
being such an awesome community. Awesome. So we're looking a lot better. We just need to finish with this. It's the aspect ratio now that we need to fix, right?
Yeah, I think if the camera code, if you scroll up a little bit, it does already have that in the initialization of that. So at the very start, we are
Here we go.
playing with the camera perspective. Yeah, let me
Do we just need
check
to
because this
update that?
part, yeah, I wasn't expecting to resize the canvas, but this is something that we always need to do. Like every time we resize the window, we need to change the camera aspect ratio. In that case, let's go back to, I found the code. So if you
Cool.
scroll down the page, let's go back to the resize function,
Cool.
and then we can call camera aspect equals window inner width divided by the height. In that case, window inner height.
Awesome.
And then we need to call camera dot update projection matrix. Otherwise, it's not going to update the projection matrix. And that's a function.
Thank you. That makes
Yeah,
sense. Not sure why I would just do that without a function call, but oh well. Nice. Looks good.
yeah. Now
And
it's
thank you, chat. Yeah. Y'all are fantastic. Cool. Looking good. Looking good.
Oh,
All right. So,
for the color, I think we
mm-hmm.
can use white instead of green.
That it's coming
So
from this, right?
yeah, we can just use FF for everything. That's going to give us the same blue that we had.
This.
And for the
Okay.
bump scale, I was using one before, but I think
Sphere was
my
bigger.
geometry was bigger. It can be 0.0 something like 0.5.
Cool. That's looking good.
Yeah, I
That's
would
looking
say even
better.
two because yeah, that's a little,
Still a little pixelated. We can also zoom out a little bit and center the globe a bit more, like in the middle. But yeah, that's
yeah.
already looking cool. Nice.
Cool. Yeah, now we have the globe and we have some reflections. Um, Maybe let's also make that drag ball and rotation. Let's rotate that.
Yeah. So when I
We are
click
going to
and
do that only in the x-axis for the purposes of this demo. But let's see how we can interact with the canvas and the user input to change objects in the scene.
awesome.
So the first thing is going to be, let's add another event listener. This
Okay.
one is going to be for mouse down and mouse move, mouse down and mouse up.
Cool. When you do multiple, how do you? I don't. Do I like pass an array, or do I have to do three
I
different ones?
usually there are three different ones.
Okay.
Usually have a boilerplate that I can just pass from the parent app.js class to the children's, but let's do manually for for now.
Sounds good. I'm just gonna
So
try to make it
yeah, it's
easy.
missing a comma.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yep. Good
Uh,
call. Cool. So you said it
oh,
was click, or sorry, mouse down, mouse up, and
mouse
drag.
down. Yeah, mouse down, mouse move, and mouse up.
Cool. Is that
It
camelcase?
needs to be lowercase. Yeah, everything
Cool.
lowercase.
And you said drag. Sorry, I'm coming back for the third one.
This one is move.
Move. Thank
Mouse
you.
move.
Mouse move. Awesome.
Cool. And then yeah, for this one we can yeah, let's think about this. So let's create another variable outside of these events called let is dragging equals false. Then in the mouse down is dragging is true, and the mouse move is in the mouse up is dragging is going to be false.
Cool. Makes sense. So as soon as I put my mouse down, I'm dragging. As soon as I lift my mouse up, I'm not. Makes sense.
Yeah. And then in the mouse move, we're going to check if this is dragging or not.
Got
Otherwise,
it.
it's going to be firing the event multiple times. If it's dragging, uh, return false, return, just return. And if it's not dragging, so let's include the exclamation point before the is dragging
So
in the
do we
inside the
do we
validation.
also want to catch that? So do I do an
Oh
in if
yeah,
else?
we just want the bottom one. You can
Okay,
delete
cool.
the top one. Yeah,
I got it, got it. So we're escaping
yeah,
this if it's not dragging,
yeah,
and then we're gonna do our stuff. Cool.
yeah, exactly. So now there is one technique that is lerping through different values, and this is going to happen in the animation frame, but we're going to rotate the sphere. So we're going to be able to drag that infinitely.
Okay.
Depending on your demo, you can clamp this value or not. Clamping is making sure that a value doesn't go higher or lower than something. But let's first implement the draggable interactions.
Cool.
So you need to create another object. It's going to be let x in before the sorry before after the is dragging declaration. I'm getting
Cool.
confused.
All good.
Yeah.
Let x.
So yeah,
And do I make that an
let
object
x.
here?
Yeah, it's going to be an object. We're going to have the target and the value as yeah, and this can be zero, and for the value it can be zero as well.
Got it. So this
And
is where we're currently at, and this is where we're planning to go. And then you're saying we're gonna lerp between those two. And
exactly,
and
yeah.
and I'm thinking for the chat, if they don't know what lerping is, I'm trying to think of how to explain that. It's like,
It's just a abbreviation of interpolation. We are doing an interpolation between one value and the other one. So let's say this finger is one value is sorry, let me this finger is zero and this one is one. So we want to interpolate between these two values. So in order me for this finger to achieve this other one, I need to interpolate all the values through to reach this value. So that's what interpolation is, and that's what smooths out the animations that you have in every website. So that's the approach that you use for JavaScript animations. You need to interpolate one value to get to another one. That's what twinning tools usually does for creating
does
the
for us, right?
animations and stuff. Yeah.
That's really, really, yeah, that's awesome. I was just thinking like if I'm driving from New York to California, American, obviously, I can know how far I'm going to be after 3 days of driving, right? So it's kind of like lerping between those 2 points and be like, all right, it's after a certain amount of time, where are you between those two things? It's the same sort of thing
Yeah,
with lerping here is like going from 0 to 1 after a half second. Where am I along that path? So Miodai,
exactly.
great to see you. Thank you. I'm glad you made a live stream. Awesome. Important to say the values for 1 and 0 can change. In lerping, I think is what Life is talking about. I'm not sure. Lerp is like
Yeah,
progress move. Not sure. I think chat will see it as we go, which is kind of finding like the position between 2 points in a sense,
Yeah.
or mathematically. Life dropping some knowledge. Love it. Cool. So let's get this in here. I want to make sure we get done close to our limit. It's not a hard limit, but I like to get as close to the time as we can, just to respect everyone's time, right?
Oh
Cool.
yeah, yeah.
So
Let's just speed up a little bit because we can quickly just drag the particles later. So uh, let's in the mouse down, we want to use the x. We also need to create another value called x position
okay,
in the object. So let x position 0.
cool. Oh,
It can be just a position without the x.
cool.
So
Makes sense. That's a little redundant.
yeah, cool. And then here we can just x dot position equals x value. So we can store the current position of the globe in the mouse down function.
Equals
Equals
x
x
value.
value.
Cool.
Then in the mouse move function, you need to get the event. So let's pass the event here. And
Cool.
then x target is going to be equals the x position plus distance. And we're going to create a new variable called distance inside of this function that we're going to calculate where the user started to click and where the user stopped to drag. So
Interesting.
distance is
Okay.
going to be e client x.
Client x like that.
Yeah, and we are going to subtract that from we need to create another variable just for the first user click, but let's call that x mouse.
Is that going to be
Sorry,
up
const.
here?
Yeah, it's kind of confusing, but let's go back.
Okay.
You can, yeah, just include mouse 0 here.
Cool.
Yeah. In the mouse down, we are going to store that to the client X as well. So mouse X mouse equals client X, e dot client X.
E dot
Yeah.
client, and I'll pull it in.
Mhm.
All right. I guess it doesn't matter which order that goes in. Cool. So this is the position on within the window essentially, right? Of
Yeah.
where the person's clicking. If we were to log it, it would be, is it 0, 0 at the top or is it 0, 0 down here? But between WebGL and the DOM, I always get mixed up because they're like, and then SVG, they like flip around.
Yeah.
It's confusing.
In the WebGL realm, usually the Y stays in the middle of the screen. So if you it, yeah, the 0 is on the middle of the screen. But
Got it.
in that case, we are using DOM
The
elements.
DOM
So
should
that's
be top left,
yeah,
right?
that's 0. Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, and then in the distance value, we need to const distance equals e mouse x mouse minus client x.
Uh,
So
Say that
yeah,
again. Sorry.
equals mouse minus client x. So you just need to subtract the mouse x in this. Yeah,
Awesome.
that's it.
Cool.
So cool. I think that's going to give us everything that we need for the mouse interactions. Just confirming, but yeah, I think that's probably at least for now. We can
Cool.
revisit that in case it doesn't work. And in the animation frame, in the const animate function that we have, yeah, here, we are going to start doing this interpolation that between the two values together. So x value dot value equals. We are going to do that manually. So we are basically going to subtract two different values.
Okay.
So in that case, it's going to be the x target minus x value. I think it's the opposite, but we can check that. Under parentheses, we're going to multiply that by 0.05.
The whole thing or just X value?
The whole subtraction.
Got it.
I think
Times
it's
0.05.
yeah. And yeah, let's drag and see what's going to
Yeah, I
happen.
didn't get
Not
anything
sure.
there. We're also
Uh,
not setting this to the sphere yet. So I think we need to
oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, we need to set that to the sphere. Sorry,
check the
I
rotation.
forgot.
All good. So that
Yeah, sphere
is
dot rotation boy.
is it just sphere?
Yeah, yeah, just sphere.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, just making sure. SPG dot rotation dot set or
It can be just the y value. It can be the x value. I know it sounds confusing, but yeah, we're getting the x from the down element and applying that to the rotation y of the sphere.
got it.
Maybe it's I did that broke
I
something.
don't know. Something's happening.
The
Might be
problem
hitting.
with yeah WebGL stuff is that sometimes when we have so many request animation frames, it kind of breaks,
Yeah.
and yeah, it freezes the tab sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes for me, just giving up on this Chrome tab and starting a new one often fixes the issue in the sense that I'm not stuck in that render loop or whatever. All right, let's see what
Hmm.
it got to. Add event listener. Where's our animation frame? Animate. Okay, so it
Yeah,
didn't get
we
any of
kind of
that.
lose. Yeah,
All right, let's try that
there's
again.
no problem. We can rewrite that. Yeah,
Did it
X
get?
value.
Hold on, I'm seeing how far back we have to go. Uh, Okay, it got is dragging. Did it get our distance thing? Yep, just making sure. Okay, cool. So,
Hmm.
let's turn this off just in case. Um,
Yeah, cool.
and
So
for
yeah,
anyone
X
watching,
value.
that's what makes it happen. Like that's what makes it recursive over and over. I just set it to something static first to make sure it works. Yeah, exactly. Miodai and I are
Yeah, that's
thinking
true.
thinking alike. Um, Whoa, Ben Myers, thank you so much for those subs. Really appreciate that. 4 months. It's so kind. You made it in the nick of time. All right, we can finish now, Luis. We're set. We're done. We don't need to do any more. Ben's here. Time to wrap it up. Ben, thank you so much for coming through, and thank you for that follow, Miodai. I appreciate it. Some wonderful people in chat. Love it. All right, so we were doing x dot value equals. I can remember this. X dot value
Uh,
minus x dot target.
yeah, and multiplying that by 0.05. Yeah, and
Nice.
then we're just going to apply that to the rotation of the sphere.
Y and then x dot value. All right.
Yeah.
Now
Uh,
if it yells at us. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna hit save, and now we can turn this back on. And if it crashes, we don't lose our work.
mhm.
You think we're
Cool.
ready?
Yeah.
Give it a
Let's
shot.
see what's going to happen.
Whoa. Okay, it's definitely working. It is just like letting me throw everyone off
I
the earth. It's
Yeah,
letting
it
me.
is it's super harsh right now.
It's okay.
So let me just check the interpolation value because I think we can smooth this out because we're creating some kind of lerp manually. In that case, in the x value, we need to change that slightly. Uh, can we let me find a function and I can share with you the lerping
Cool. Yeah,
because
that
I
that,
wasn't
that sounds
prepared.
great.
Yeah. So
Miodai is saying just go 0.0005. The interpolation is fine. Try
oh,
that.
just yeah, let's give it a try.
Yeah, it might just be. Yeah, there we go. Oh, interesting. It
Yeah,
starts over.
it's resetting to the start. Yeah, this is
Got it.
happening because of the X. Let's scroll down the page a little bit, the code a little bit. It's because of the X position target.
Yeah, we set this rather than basing it on what it like it
Uh,
resets everything. It needs to be BLE X value plus equals.
yeah, the plus equals. That's true in the value,
In
in the
which
request animation frame.
okay, cool. Where
Yeah. Scroll down a little bit.
plus
Yeah, it needs to
equals.
be X target. Yeah.
Whoa. Is it gonna spin forever?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
I can
okay with it.
refactor that. Yeah, a little bit, but I think that's good if that kind of spins a little
Yeah, I'm
bit.
good with it. We can get to some other stuff for sure. I love the
Yeah,
little
let's
spot of
go to
light
the
on it.
other stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but no, that's super
cool.
cool.
I think just to make things interesting and to save everyone everyone's time, we
Okay.
can jump into the particles and we
Yeah.
can create some particles together and dive into a little bit of the shaders.
Yeah.
This is going to be quicker because we have some examples from the uh, Three.js website. Let's go
Awesome.
to the particles example that we had. You can search for particles in the tabs.
Oh, here we go. So, oh, thank you for the follow.
I
Appreciate it. Was it up? I think I closed it by accident, like a goof.
You can
Particles,
search for particles,
buffer geometry, right? This
and
one?
we are going to create a buffer geometry particles. This is
Cool.
a more advanced technique, but it's kind of cool to see that working within a demonstration. So let's go to the source code.
Cool. Got it
Basically,
here.
the way we're going to create the particles using Three.js, we're going to use the shaders to apply the different. Oh,
Sorry,
awesome!
that's our
Just all the
confetti.
files.
I just realized that's the first time you've seen that, so it probably was pretty surprising. Yeah,
Yeah,
so people can throw custom emojis up as confetti, and Ben picked three very appropriately chosen confetti. Well done, Ben. Thank you.
yeah. The good thing about using the this approach for particles is because we're going to use buffer geometries, like someone in the chat mess mentioned.
Yeah.
It's kind of like more performant than creating multiple spheres and animating each one of these spheres.
Got
So we're
it.
going to
Okay.
batch all the vertices and stuff, create a shader for that, and then it's going to glow and everything around the globe.
Awesome.
Just to speed that things a lot,
Yeah.
if you scroll down the page a little bit, you can see that there is no secret. You can literally copy and paste the shader material, the buffer geometry initialization, and we're going to basically copy most of the things, but
Okay.
I'm going to explain line by line with you so everyone understands what we are doing.
Awesome. Appreciate that. So
So
should I
just
grab
scroll the
from
yeah, scroll
77?
a little bit upper. I think we need to also copy uh, the uniforms. Yeah.
Got it. So is this? Oh,
Cool.
so because it's gonna make a shader. I've done some shaders with guests, so like the uniforms get passed through to the shader, right?
Yeah,
Cool,
exactly. This is going to be the texture that you're going to apply to the particles.
awesome. Oh, and there's Spark One, so we're gonna need to grab our own like sparkle
Mhm.
texture or whatever. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? The geometry, right?
Yeah, you can just keep scrolling and copying all the different things that we
Awesome.
have. Then we set the attributes of the geometry, and then we create the points. Yeah, until you can
And then
copy
add.
until the scene add. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Oh, we're still going. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Got it. Got to catch it. All right. So I'm gonna drop this. Let's see. Should I drop it before we create the sphere, or where? Should I drop it, like at the
I think
top?
it can be after we create the sphere. So
Okay. Cool. So you got the sphere there. Camera position. Animate. But before animate, right? So I'm just
yeah.
gonna add a comment here. Particles. Try
Cool.
to organize this a little bit and just. No, it's a little redundant, but try to tidy this up so I can find my way around it. My fault with the sloppy code here. Cool. So we might be
It's
breaking because of this, is my guess, but maybe something else. I don't know. Do
Yeah,
we?
we can simplify that a little bit.
Okay.
Let's remove the uniforms equals object and pass this object directly to the shader material.
Okay.
So,
So just put it
yeah, you
here,
can,
right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and yeah, you can just paste here, and you can remove the
Oh,
equal sign
I
that is
deleted
going to
this. Hold
come.
on one sec.
Yeah, cool.
All right. Got that in there. Whoa, Miodai has a code pen with 28,000 particles. Wow,
Mhm.
that's wild. That's quite a
Yeah,
lot. It's amazing that the browser can handle that.
Yeah, that's true. We are
Yeah.
living in the good ages of web development, like with all this different 3D stuff happening.
Yeah. Being able to
Cool.
pass things to the
What?
GPU really frees up a lot of possibilities, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's weird that we are having some issues. That I think it's probably because of the loader, but
Yeah, no reading text
uh,
content. So get on by
oh
ID,
yeah, we
vertex
need to
shader. We
copy.
don't have anything
Yeah,
there.
we need to copy also the vertex declarations. Usually, you can also create strings for that, but in the Three.js demos, they usually create that in the script
Got it.
uh,
So am I
using other
grabbing
script tags.
the
Yeah,
vertex
the
and the
vertex
fragment?
and the fragment shader.
Cool.
Yeah, the
All right.
fragment for the fragment is used for coloring stuff and applying the effects in each one of the pixels, and the vertex is used for manipulating the different vertex positions, the vertices that you have in any 3D model.
Is it
So
is it kind of similar to how I think of the vertex and the fragment similarly, I don't know if that's how you say that, to the geometry and the material, and then you combine them both. Similar sort of
yeah,
thing, right? Where
exactly.
like the
Mhm.
geometry is the kind of like the vertex shader, and then the material is kind of like the fragment shader, just tells it how to look, and then the geometry tells it what shape to be in, or like what its vertices and things are. I don't know. That's my
Yeah.
mental model
Mhm.
for it. Um,
Yeah, that's a good way to have the mindset. Yeah, that's literally it. You're completely right. That's
cool,
exactly it.
awesome. No one's ever told me that on this show, so I appreciate someone telling me that I'm right about something. So thank you very much. Cool. So now, assignment to constant variable. You're gonna.
Oh yeah, we just need to create a new let's call this one as particle geometry because we already have a const
Got
geometry
it.
before.
Okay. So
Yeah.
const uh, particle geometry, and that's probably gonna get where else does that
Yeah, and
show
then we
up?
just need to
Geometry.
change that. Yeah.
Cool. Geometry. Oh nope. Come back. All right.
Same
And
for the particle system, I think. I think it's complaining about not having const for this variable. Not sure.
got it. Particles is not
Oh,
defined. Let's see how they define it
particles is
up
just the
here.
amount of particles, I think,
Here
but you
we
can
go.
check. Yeah,
Cool.
we
And
have
they just did
10K.
uniforms geometry. Let me just copy that real quick. I'll remove the
Mhm.
geometry bit. Um, positions, colors, sizes, const particle geometry. All right. Wait a minute. We had geometry and now particle geometry. Did we replace both of those? I think we did. I think we're
Yeah.
good. Are we good? Cool. It's not broken anymore, so that's good. Now we just need an image.
Yeah, to display the particles.
Yeah,
I
for
think we
this.
have the vertices and everything there. It's just not loading any map for the particles. That's why we cannot see
Cool. Should we grab this
anything.
one from here, or should we do something else?
I think we can. There's one thing that is useful for everyone that needs to find assets. You can literally go Google search for particle texture in Google, and you're going to be able to see some PNGs. Usually they are black and white. So particle, yeah, you can keep this one, which is basically just a PNG that you can use to display
Cool.
the particle. Your particles can be literally anything. So there is one trick. This is more advanced in the WebGL kind of sense, but you can create one PNG with different different channels, one for the red channel, another one for the green channel, and
Mm.
another one for the blue channel. And you can show three different particles in a single PNG. That reduces the amount of textures that you have in your WebGL application. But this is
Oh.
more just a more complex shader
Oh, that's wild.
subject.
That's cool. Would
But
you maybe
but you can
use
imagine,
like a PNG for clouds to make it more performant on a site? Like if you had clouds, would it be like a PNG kind of thing?
yeah, you can use a PNG. I would use that for clouds in case you need to create clouds in WebGL ecosystem. I would pick a PNG like this.
Cool.
I would play with the opacity of that.
Right.
You can use
Alpha.
you can use noise algorithms to generate different clouds.
Oh,
This is
nice.
called Perling noise, I think. You can use different values to generate clouds, but that's very expensive for the GPU to handle.
Got
So
it.
usually you can also, most of the times you want to use PNGs for these different noise functions, and you just get the values from that.
Nice.
But yeah,
Love I love just all these tips and like finding out how like the glow trick around. I'm excited to get that in there. Cool. So I saved my particle. See if I can drag and drop it, and can't. I don't know why that always like breaks for me on CodePen. Particle single open. Actually, we could probably use the background glow thing too, right?
yeah, that's true. I'm
If
not
I
sure if we're going to have enough time to
all good,
include that, unfortunately, but yeah, that
all
we could use
good.
that as well.
All right, cool. So I've got my particle, dropping it in there.
Mhm.
Okay, something happened, and it looks like we're getting, yeah. So we might just have too many particles, and they're taking up like the foreground. I'm guessing their camera was different than ours, right?
Yeah, the camera is way more distant. We can update to the demo just to
Yeah,
see
look,
that working. Yeah,
300, and we're at like 5.
300. Yeah,
So
we are just seeing everything clamped
yeah, so what should we
closely.
change?
We can change let's change the camera just because it's going to be easier.
Okay,
Otherwise, because these random numbers, that would be a little bit hard to change. So we
right.
can change the camera and we can scale up the sphere. So
Okay,
yeah,
so
camera position. Yeah.
we'll do the 300 or
hmm
cool.
Let's
All
see
right,
how it's going to
still
look
seeing
like.
white. Hmm.
Yeah, that's weird. Maybe the material. Let's check. Let's scroll down the page a little bit. The code. Text reloader, that's fine. Then we have the depth test, which is also fine. So we are creating the shader here. I'm scrolling down the page a little bit more.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah. So
Um,
should we drop these particles down so that we can at least see just a few and then bump up from that?
yeah. mhm.
Okay. Cool.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
So
Yeah, it was too many for the
yeah,
amount of things that we was seeing before.
and I can still see the Earth.
And
I don't know if chat can see it, but the Earth is becoming the blue marble, for sure. So yeah. Okay. So if we drop this radius down, that I'm guessing is the radius
of
of
the
the
blocks
galaxy,
of the amount
essentially,
of
right?
particles. Yeah.
Got it. So if so we could either do that or we could increase our Earth size, right? Like it's all relative to one another. So we could just bump up our Earth, or we can change
Yeah.
back our camera. I don't know. What do you want to do?
Maybe let's just scale the camera. Sorry, the the sphere just to make
Cool.
that bigger so we can see that.
All right.
And then yeah, I'm
Sphere.
going. Uh, yeah,
Trying to
it's in the
find it.
tree sphere.
There we
Yeah,
go.
instead of three, let's make that like 50 or something.
Let's see how that goes.
Not sure if that's going to be too big.
Ah, and then the
Yeah.
point light becomes a problem again, right? That's funny.
Yeah.
Where's our point light? That should be above. So point light, here we go.
Yeah.
So we can do,
Yeah.
so that was
30
at
and
50,
50. Yeah.
30.
Apply
Well,
that to
that's still
10.
going to be inside the Earth, right? No, or no, because it's 50. It'll be just in
Oh,
front, I think, because 20, it should
yeah.
be 25 at the radius now. Yeah, so it's going to be right there. So we want to
Yeah.
have it like
Let's
far
move a little
off.
bit. Yeah, maybe 100.
Yeah,
That would be good. And 50. Yeah.
cool. It's looking cool.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, it's already a lot of things, right? Because
Yeah,
based on the amount of time that you have invested, is not,
yeah,
it's already a bunch of things that would take ages in case we would use
right.
playing WebGL from scratch. Let me just explain each one of the things that happened and
Okay.
why it's always better to create particles using shaders and why we are using the points stuff. Because, yeah, so let's just scroll down a little bit,
Cool.
and we can refer to the documentation later. But the shader material, it's useful for creating things using shaders. And what this means is basically, instead of creating using the normal classes that you have from Three.js, you're writing proper code from scratch for the sorry, I saw the question in the channel, but we can reply for Mildai
I think
questions
so,
later.
right? I think particles are
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
always 2D.
Yeah, these particles, they're going to be 2D because they don't have any extrusion, or it's always going to face the user's camera. So that's why they're always 2D. And that's where the points type of 3ds class comes into place, because it's going to create just the vertices for us. But yeah, the shader material is useful for creating the shaders from scratch. So in that case, we're creating a vertex shader and a fragment shader. If you take a look at the HTML code, we have stored the vertex shader and the fragment shader in the HTML code. In that case, the color is coming from different attributes. And what attribute means is that for each one of the vertices, you can include a special variable just for this attribute. So it can be readable. It can be readable by the fragment shader and the vertex shader. vColor is a varying variable because it comes from the vertex shader to the fragment shader. I know it's a lot of different things that I'm introducing and I'm trying to explain,
Shaders can be
but
tricky,
if
yeah.
if you go deeper, you're going to understand what each one of these things means. But step by step, we are creating shader, applying a different color for each one of the particles. So in case we change the particles to be the gold color that we had, that would be the same across all of them. Then we are passing that to the fragment shader, which is responsible for creating these different particles that we have in the galaxy right now.
Got it.
Just a funny trick that we can do. If you take a look at the example, we are going to use they kind of fade in and fade out
Yeah.
nicely depending on the time. That happens because we're updating the uniforms of the shader based on the amount of time that the canvas is being rendered. So
Got
every
it.
time that we update any of these variables, that's going to update also the how the particle is going to be rendered in the canvas.
Got it. Okay, so do we want
We
to
can do
do
that
that?
super quickly. Yeah,
Gonna
if you
check
scroll
this
down a little bit, I'm pretty sure it's a bit pixelated here, but
window.
we have the uh, sorry, yeah, we have the sizes that are being updated, but we can use something simpler.
Okay.
Let's go to the code and we can do something easier together. We're going to basically fade in and fade out the different particles together. So in the animation frame, uh, let's go step by step first.
Okay.
Sorry, let's go back to the shader
No
and let's create
worries.
the uniform first. Oh, not this one, the
Oh,
code.
oh, sorry. Yes. Got it.
Yeah,
So
the
here,
shader.
the fragment shader,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah. Let's create an uniform float u alpha, and then let's scroll down back to the code, the JavaScript code. We're going to
Okay.
create this u alpha in the shader itself. So in
Um,
the
in the shader, in the shader material.
here,
Cool.
you can just create the u alpha, a new object inside of that. Yeah, u alpha, it can be the value. Oh, it's inside the uniform. Uh,
Got it.
so yeah, I just need to move that. Yeah. Uh, 2 points, then your value is going to be 0. So it's another object.
Okay.
Sorry, another object, value is 0. It doesn't
Cool.
need to be you, just value.
Nice. And
And
then
then
okay.
it's missing a comma
Thank
after the point
you.
texture. Yeah, cool. Oh yeah, and we are going to go to the request animation frame. and we're going to call shader material.uniforms.ualpha.value. I know it's a lot. Yeah. Shader material uniforms value ualpha.value. And let's sum up like plus equals something like 0.01.
Cool.
Cool. And yeah, if you scroll, let's go back to the HTML code. And now we're going to update the fragment, the
Fragment shader
to
to
the
take that
HTML.
in.
Yeah, to the fragment shader. And let's create a new variable. Oops.
Sorry about that. I clicked
Inside
off
of
and it's
the,
like trying to get rid of me. All right, so we're creating
oh,
what
good.
where?
Inside of the void main, we're going to create a new alpha variable. So we're going to type float alpha equals u alpha.
Oh, u
Oh,
alpha, sorry.
not new.
Cool.
Yeah, u alpha. And another thing that you can do, we can use assign. So just type sin in and put that in parentheses on the u alpha. So we're going to call a function. Yeah, sin.
Cool.
And yeah, and we're going to use the sign for setting the alpha, and we're going to pass the alpha to the particles. I think all of the particles are going to just
Kind of
fade in
flash
and
in and
fade out
out,
at the
right?
same time. Yeah, but we can play with that by summing up the value of the v-color.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. If you tweak the value from you can make that fade in and fade out faster by applying more values or multiplying by alpha here. Up to you. You can use 0.1 or something. It depends on where you prefer to update the code, but yeah. Just a trick that, yeah, you can flash that from the shader. And one other trick, just to make that each one of the particles animate in different speeds, we can create a new attribute for that, but let's use the value that already comes from the color. So in the HTML color, in the HTML code, sorry,
Yeah, yeah.
we are
That's
going to
smart.
use the v color r, and we're going to so inside of the sim function,
Yeah.
you're going to sum this with the v color r value, and maybe let's multiply that by 100 or something. Yeah. So as you can see, they are already having different
Inside times 100, right? Yeah.
yeah. It needs to be zero point 0, I think, otherwise it's going to break because
I
in
always
fact,
I
yeah,
always forget that. It's becoming a
yeah.
terrible trademark of mine that I never remember how to do that. That's cool. And then
So yeah,
if we
that's
wanted it to be um like
always gold
like
or always the same color. You
yeah,
can
we
change
would
that to be
just
something else
change
like
that, right?
yeah, vec3, and then the three different arguments are different types of it also needs to be 1 point something. But if you
Thank
want that
you.
to be gold, you can use 1 point R red, green, blue.
Yeah.
So it needs to be
I can never do it
uh,
with the float like
I
between
cannot
0
do
and
that.
1.
So
I can really do it with red,
uh,
green, blue. Yeah, I don't
I
know.
think it needs to be 110.
Let's see. Let's see. Let's use my little thing here. That's kind of a gold. Wait, here you go. Let's get it from my profile picture.
Cool.
Okay, so that's RGB. So red 100% basically. This just about like 90%, and then that's like
Yeah,
halfway. We're gonna give it a
yeah,
shot, chat.
0.7 or something.
One, and yeah, 0.7. We'll see how that goes.
You
Ooh,
can
look at
always
that.
pass that
Look at
from.
that.
There
Cool.
is other ways of doing that. You can pass that as an uniform as well. So the good thing about this demo that we're doing is that you can, if you take a look at any Three.js example, now you kind of understand how you can update shader values using the JavaScript code.
Yeah,
So
that's really cool.
if you want to pass hex code for the particles, just to make the demo even more interesting, scroll up the page a little bit, and let's pass another uniform to the verb to the code.
Cool. Just
So
super quick before do we want to finish on that, or was there anything else that we wanted to get to before? Like I think we probably have time for like one more thing, if you want to.
yeah, I think uh, what you think? We can try to include the ring light, but I think it's going to take a little bit longer.
Okay,
So that's unfortunate. But
that's all
I
good.
can provide you the code sample for everyone to
That'd
take
be
a look
that'd be awesome. Yeah. So
later.
on the show page, I'll put the links to everything so people who are watching this afterwards, like in the YouTube description, everything, it'll have a link to the show page and all the links that we've shared from before, and
Mhm.
the code demo will be there. So yeah,
Cool.
it's not going to be lost to the sands of time. We will capture it and it'll be there. So you want to pass the color in for like kind of the last thing?
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. Let's just pass the coloring just so we can pass different things. So you can
Love
pass
it.
float values like this, or you can pass U color, for example. Not U color, but let's use U tint for this one because U color is already coming from other
Cool.
things. Then a new value, and then let's pass a new tree value. Then new tree dot color, and then you can just pass the hex code, any hex code that you want. So in that case,
Um,
can be
oh, chat always has good ones. Chat, what's a they've got fun ones. Like I know chat's gonna get it. Chat, give me a good color. They've like some of them just rattled them off. Moccasin. Thank you, Ben Myers. Hex codes life. I was like moccasin. No, but that's probably a pretty dope. Wait. Can you pass CSS things?
I'm not sure. We can try, but
We
in the worst
can
case scenario, we just
for
pass the.
now. Let's run with what. Do I need the hash or no?
You need to, yeah.
Okay, cool.
You need to keep
We'll
passing that,
run with
and
Ben's.
then in the HTML code, we can just update the shader to use the utint instead.
Oh yes. And sorry, I have to change it actually. This is a nice little inside joke with the Discord. We actually found out that that's a pretty decent texture, or sorry, a decent color. So we're going
That's
in. We
true.
are so first we have to say, hey, we are expecting this, right?
Yeah.
Is it
In
a
that case, it's
vec3?
an uniform, yeah, vec3 because it's a color, and then it's utint in that case. So
Cool. And that's just basically declaring that we're expecting it, and then we're able to put it
yeah, just
here.
replace the vec3. Yeah. Mhm.
Nice. It's a really solid color.
Yeah, it also matches the color
It
of the
does. It
globe.
matches it
Yeah.
perfectly. Life well done.
Cool. Yeah, I think
Awesome.
that's pretty much it. I wish I had more time to just show to you guys, and also I should have bring more code snippets for everyone.
No
But
worries.
that was also good because we could also see how you can easily plug in all these things together and bring up something cool. Let's say one project that I have done without working with anything creative before. I have come to my company and said, "Oh, let's create a globe and let's try to uh, just see someone is going to submit a story for this website, and then we can showcase the location of each one of these stories on this globe. For that, you can use other calculations, but you can create a different sphere in each one of the places of the Earth using latitude and longitude. And yeah, we can you can do plenty of different cool stuff with
Awesome. Yeah.
things
Does
like that."
GitHub still have
Ah,
I don't,
they do in the
yeah, hold on,
homepage.
I'm bringing up my thing. GitHub. They don't let
Yeah.
me go to the homepage. Yeah, this thing. I think of this and a few others like this with like these globe effects, right? I wonder if they're doing
I
that
think the ring
same
light, yeah,
rim light
it
thing.
feels that it's almost the same, like just a PNG that sits
Yeah,
on top because
that'd be
it
interesting.
changes other elements, I think.
Yeah, and I'm way zoomed in there. But yeah, it's really cool. Just the globe effect in general, right? But no, this was great. I love that we were able to make our shapes. We had I mean, first off, I love how you walked us through Three.js .org, just that alone was valuable for someone who's created a lot of these projects. You showing us like how to go in, find some examples for what we want to build, and then lean on those examples, not just, you coming in and just, I've memorized all this stuff, but going in, copy pasting, tweaking, and changing. That I think is
Yeah,
so
also
valuable
having
for me.
errors.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
I prefer to do things this way because it shows my flaws as a developer that like sometimes I misspell code, I don't get the work functions always at the same without using the libraries that I already
yeah,
use. So it's useful because you can see how the process of creating some things can be. So that was the way I have built the globe that I showcased to you guys before. Like I was just plugging in the map. It was using exactly the same map for the globe itself, and then I was
awesome.
just searching for other stuff. But as you can see, there's nothing that many different
Yeah,
because it's just the globe, the ring light that sits on top. It can be just a PNG that is mapped on top of
yeah, that
things,
was gonna be that.
and all the particles around. Yeah,
Really cool. Yeah, thank you so much. That this made Three.js feel a lot more approachable because now I feel like I know how to use this website a bit more, and I can go in and take these sorts of things and tweak them in the way that is really neat. That is that is a movie right there. That is wild. Um, yeah, I feel like I can go in and tweak these where before this stuff kind of just feels like overwhelming and I don't really know where to get started with the examples. I love the examples, but I don't know how to like pick them up off the shelf and put them into something that I'm working on. So this was excellent. And yeah, and
awesome.
we touched on bump maps. We touched on uh, not normal maps, but just the texture, right? Like a texture map. We got
Mhm.
some particles, some shaders going. This was a lot of fun. Louise, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. But let me drop your link in chat one more time. People should definitely go check out your site. Definitely follow you on Twitter. Is your Twitter on your site? I don't know if it is. Let me.
It is. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Definitely check him out on Twitter. Follow him there. And yeah, this has been an absolute blast. Is there anything else that we should push people towards? Your site. Oh, your course. One last thing. AWWW. Yes. So in this course, if you just want to plug that real quick, you teach us how to build a really cool, immersive, creative website without framework. So like you're going to like WebGL
Yeah.
itself, right?
Yeah, for this one, I'm going to be honest, it's literally the same thing that we have done right now. We have gone through the Figma file. I exported everything. I really recorded everything to build the Floema.jewelry website. I can send you the link of the final product that
Awesome.
each one of the, if you follow the steps and each one of the lessons, that's the result that the students usually are able to implement. Let me just, I think that's the website.
You just
I
drop
sent
it
you on the
in
Discord. Yeah.
our thing. Cool. Let me check out Discord
Mhm.
real quick. Got some new people joining the Discord. If you're not already in the Discord, definitely join it. We are a very welcoming, friendly community. We're all learning. I think Luis, I think he did a great job of like embodying that on this stream without me even like talking to you about it, where you were just saying, "Oh yeah, when I first saw this was overwhelming for me too." I loved that because that's kind of what we're all about. So if this stuff was overwhelming for you, you're welcome in our chat. If this stuff wasn't and you're kind of good with this already, you're also welcome in our chat. But it's a very inclusive space for people to chat about fun, awesome front end stuff. This is
Yeah,
really
for
cool.
sure. And everyone can reach me out in the front end hours in case they have any questions or anything that
Yeah,
they want to,
you are in there. That's where we're
yeah,
chatting
check
right now.
about.
So yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah, that's
if
the
yeah,
final thing that we have built during the course. I have included some
that's
extra shaders, but
cool.
the code is also available for everyone to see step by step how it was made.
That's awesome. That's a really
And
slick
it's using,
effect.
yeah, just the standard libraries that I prefer to use, like Prismic, Node.js, Express, and Sass, and Babel.js, and plain JavaScript for the entire website.
Cool. And Kutuware or Kutuware, I'm not sure, asks, what is the best method to learn WebGL stuff? you say that your course would
I
be a,
have learned,
yeah.
yeah, I have learned by using, by doing projects. That was my biggest way of learning things. But Simon's course, Three.js Journey, is just amazing. I think that's the best one that we
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
We also have
Fantastic.
other live
Fantastic course.
streams with him, right?
Yeah. Yeah. He
On
was,
Front End
he
Horse.
was on
Yeah.
before. Fantastic. Yeah. He also does live streams. I want to say, Bruno Simone Dev. I hope that's his. If not, I gave a shout out to probably no account at all. But yeah, Bruno is definitely a great teacher. His whole course is fantastic. Definitely recommend that one. He was on earlier today. Yes, he was. Bruno Simone course is worth it to watch. Yep. But yeah, also give Luis's course a watch. I've heard very good things. Even people in chat said it was wonderful. I think Rachel W said
Thanks so much.
it was
Yeah.
it was excellent. So yeah, I think was that is that it? Oh yes, last thing. And OGL, super quick. Could
Mhm.
you touch on OGL? And then Life also has a question there. What's OGL? And what use
Um,
case is OGL better suited than Three.js?
yeah, I usually use OGL for websites that only uses plain geometries and shaders on these planes. That's the
Okay,
case of the Floema website. That is just images that have a different paper effect and stuff like this. So
got it.
it's just a lightweight 3JS version, let's say like that. It's not that similar because it have different structure and the way it works is different, but you can write the shaders from scratch for pretty much everything. You
Oh,
don't
cool.
have, for example, the mesh Phong material. You would need to create that from scratch
Got
with
it.
OGL.
That's good to know. And then request animation frame versus three dot set animation loop.
I
Do you
never
know that?
used the last one. I think maybe this is something that they have included in their API to handle the request animation frame. Probably the last one is more used or not. I'm not sure about the answer about this one,
Yeah.
but
I've
yeah.
seen this chat on Twitter between the creator of React 3 Fiber and Mr. Doob, but I don't remember what the differences were in there at all. So I hope that helps. I've seen it on Twitter. Don't remember it. Did that help, Life? I hope that was the answer you were looking for. Yeah, sorry, but yeah, not sure. Good question though. And then last thing was learned OGL is a thing. Cool. And people learned lots of other stuff, dude. We just haven't. I as a streamer haven't gotten good at reminding or setting up like visual reminders for that. So that's not an indication of your actual teachings. Just want to let you know. But yeah, that was fantastic. And if you have any questions, like Louise said, hop over to the Front End Horse Discord. We are there, or you can hit him up on Twitter. Pretty much anywhere. Very approachable, kind person. Yeah, thank you so much to everyone who came through. This is excellent. Cool. So we are going to now find someone to raid. Hopefully, hopefully I don't choke, and hopefully someone fantastic is raiding or is streaming, and we can go raid them. Once again, Luis, shower this man with confetti and love and thanks because it was just excellent. I learned so much. Marlon, great to see you. Thank you, Marlon. Appreciate it. Amit's here. Oh, so many great people. Thank you so much,
Thanks so
Adrian.
much, everyone.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'll let you say goodbye because otherwise I'll keep talking forever. So you can say goodbye, Luis. Go
No
for it.
problem. Yeah. Thanks so much, everyone. Thanks also for the opportunity. I hope I was able to share some stuff. WebGL is a very broad subject, so it's hard to
No worries.
talk about everything in
Yeah,
short periods of time. But I'm always open to anything that you guys might want to discuss or ask about. So feel free to
awesome.
reach me out through Twitter or through the Front End Horse channel. Yeah,
Awesome. And if you ever want to come back, I'm sure we could learn all day from you or anyone at Active Theory if they want to come on. Open invitation, my friend. All right. We will see you.
awesome.
Chat. We'll see you Friday. Cassie Evans is here. She's answering all your green sock questions. Tomorrow's guest canceled last minute, or sorry, not last minute. things came up last minute and had unfortunately canceled. But Friday, be here. Cassie Evans is here to answer all your green stock questions, and get those questions ready. Drop them in the chat over in the Front End Horse Discord, because she is excited to be on and answer all your questions. Cassie is fantastic. And I will see you then. Take care. Bye.